Good evening. How's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Saturday night, 10:30 p.m. West Coast time here, California time. September 6, 2025 is the date. Latest activity shows a 2.6 across Alaska, or across the western Texas there. Also some movement stirring up into California. Got a little earthquake down here that struck just outside of the Los Angeles region earlier tonight, north of Ontario, kind of up here in the mountains. It looks like about 4 miles underneath the area. 3.5, more than likely going to be associated with one of these faults here that sit around the mountain range up here. Nothing big, but it is a little uptick here in the last 7 days. That's going to be the biggest earthquake. In fact, listed there on the map. As far as the last 30 days go, I believe that's going to top the chart as well for that. Well, no, take that back. Did have a 3.6 back there in middle of August. Either way, the 3.5 today. An interesting earthquake. Do have to watch that because it has been relatively quiet out here across Southern California for a little while. Maybe seeing an uptick going on here. We'll continue to watch that. It was felt over the area of Los Angeles and the vicinity here of that epicenter and the star. Nothing big, just a little bit of light shaking, a little friendly reminder that Southern California, of course, is earthquake country. Further up north here, a little bit of movement along the Ridgecrest area. That's kind of in that region where the 6.9 and 7.1 struck back in 2019 there. But aside from that, let's see what we got here for the Bay Area. Got a number of quakes on there today, including couple twos, the latest a 2-pointer near Hollister. That is just off the San Andreas Fault towards the southern end here of the Calaveras Fault. A couple other smaller quakes here along the Coast Range as well. Creeping section of the San Andreas Fault seeing a couple microquakes as well, but the Parkfield segment holding on strong. Not seeing any larger activity out there for now. Northern California, nothing showing up on the map. Kind of find that hard to believe, but let's go see what we got here for the Cascadia Tremor activity, which shows another decent event here of 454 epicenters of tremor. That actually covering almost the entirety here of the Cascadia subduction zone. This is not volcanic tremor, but slow slip events that occur pretty much in major subduction zones here, such as the Cascadia. That's a sign that the Juan de Fuca plate is further being shoved underneath the region of the North America plate here. That, obviously it's building up steam, and it will continue to do so until it reaches its maximum breaking point, so to speak, resulting in a 9.0 or greater in a full rupture. Or we could see a partial rupture down here across the southern end, resulting up to an 8.4 or so. Watching it closely. That's all we can do for right now, because when the big one hits, we will know about it. Up and down the West Coast, we'll know about it. Tremor activity here, I would say since about June or so, has been pretty solid. I'm trying to see if we got any comparison there in the years past. It goes up and it goes down. No one knows exactly what happens prior to a major event along the Cascadia. I do know, though, that I think it's going to happen during heightened periods of tremor activity, right? Because that's when the plate is being further shoved down, the Juan de Fuca plate here, being further shoved down underneath this area. So the tremor activity is that sign here that strain is further increasing across this region of the Cascadia. One earthquake up there in Mount Rainier. Looks like fairly recent earthquake, a little 0.8. So with that being said, let's go see if we can find that earthquake on the Mount Rainier seismograph station here. A little 0.8. Looks like it was towards this seismograph station. So let's see what we have. Let's go back. Previous day. So that apparently occurred at what time? 1905. So 7:05, which means we need to go back to the last chart here. It's been a long day. There it is. They said 1905, but this looks more or less like 1905 is going to be right here, this earthquake. So if that's a 0.8, what's this? Something a little bit bigger. Because this is around 2003, just after 8 o'clock California time here. That's definitely a legit earthquake. Some of these other ones may be rock falls. But there's 2 earthquakes, and that's a 0.8, then that one's got to be bigger. I don't see anything else in the region that is recent. So 1905, 20 is going to be 8 o'clock. So yeah, there's 2 earthquakes. We'll see if they report that back there tomorrow. Well, it's going to have to be on Monday if they get to it. I do want to look at the other seismograph station up here, see what we got, see if it's picking that up. 1905, yeah, that's going to be the earthquake right here. The one at 2005 looks like it's gone here, so I don't know, maybe that was a little bit maybe a more localized event, but that little 0.8 showing up there as well on this seismograph station. And it does look like there's a number of smaller quakes in the area as well. Nothing big. These do look like earthquakes. No major intensifying swarm, just I still think there's earthquake activity occurring out there. Very small though. All right, Yellowstone National Park, nothing major going on, but let's give a quick quick glance up there at Yellowstone. Hope everyone's had a decent weekend so far. Been pretty quiet here on this end, but it's been busy, but you know, nothing too drastic here on my end. Not a whole lot of earthquake activity there across Yellowstone. This is current up to the current time, but as you can see there, earthquake activity fairly minimal across the region of Yellowstone National Park. See, oil fields of Texas still getting hit. I mean, that's just very common. Not a whole lot changing out here. In the last 30 days within the Texas area, they've had well over 1,000 earthquakes up here of various magnitudes, and that's common, quite common out there for earthquake activity to stir up in the oil fields. New Madrid seismic zone, nothing showing up there. One earthquake in eastern Tennessee. Looks like fairly, well, that was this morning, about 11 o'clock or so for a 2.1. But aside from that, let's see what we got here for the world view. Alaska seeing some earthquake uptick here. Looks like some 5 stirring up. 5.4 this afternoon. I thought there was another 5 that came in, but maybe it got upgraded or downgraded, or maybe they just removed it off the map. But watch this area. Been quite active out here in the last, technically in the last 30 days, we've seen various clusters across this interesting subduction zone here. Lacking activity here, though. And also a little bit of seismic gap along this area of the subduction zone as well. So we'll continue to watch that. The Kuril-Kamchatka Trench over here around Russia. A couple more aftershocks there in the 4 range. It does look like it's dying off a little bit in terms of the frequency of the aftershocks. Some further activity, including a 4.1 directly smack dab there on the Nankai Trough. Nothing showing up here from the USGS, or yeah, the USGS, but it is on the EMSC. That's going to be the 4.1, fairly recent right here. That's definitely of some concern because this major subduction zone's been underneath the strain of plate tectonics here since the last major events back in 1942 and 44. This is the area that the Japanese government there put out a mega quake warning for last year. There was no mega quake that happened, but I'm sure we could be getting close to seeing some larger activity. These guys reporting that as a 4.1. This is a Japanese meteorological agency here, and of course, been a wonder what all this covers. I haven't really looked at all of this lately. I'd look for the swarms around that region, but it's definitely right there within the Nankai Trough. It looks like it's around section D, maybe section D or so. But we'll continue to keep an eye on that. No major swarms going on. But we will continue to watch it. There was another one down here across that area to the south of the Nankai Trough. How many windows do I have open here? Let's get rid of a couple of them. All right, what else we got here? Let's take a look at the earthquake 3D globe. Pretty good cluster going on there across the Philippines southward and all throughout the Indonesia area. Very common. Some movement up around the Burma area, Myanmar area, 4.9 and a 3-pointer. Also some activity there stirring up in eastern Afghanistan once again. Watch this middle point boundary. It's looking pretty quiet. Every once in a while when we see all this activity jumping over it, it will normally fill in here in a big fashion. So we'll keep an eye on that area around Nepal, Himalayas. Could see some larger movement here. New Zealand, what's going on down there across New Zealand? Looks like a 5-pointer. North Island area. Let's go over here to the GeoNet servers here real quick and see what these guys are reporting. 5.1 North Island region, about 24 kilometers deep or so. That looks like it's towards the northern end of the Hikurangi subduction zone, which of course is an area of concern as well. Let me see here. I wanted to look at a couple different things. Actually, I want to see the earthquake drums over here real quick. It's been a while since I've gone through the New Zealand site. There's that 5-pointer that showed up. That was actually a number of hours ago. Looks like that's about the only earthquake out there, but again, we'll continue to keep an eye on New Zealand. There's a lot of regions out here that are fairly well primed. Does look like a decent cluster going on there. This follows that deeper activity north here into the Tonga Trench recently. A lot of deeper activity north. Some adjustment going on down south here. Watch this area around the Alpine Fault. Let's see, a couple earthquakes coming into Alaska right now. Hawaii. What's going on out there in Hawaii? Let's go see. Yeah, give it a second. The volcano site is normally pretty slow around this time of night for whatever reason. I don't know, but it is. And let's see here. Deformation data. Still going up. Still going up. This is the inflation chart here across the Kilauea volcano. We got a number of days before we see another eruption out there. I don't think we're anywhere close right now. So nothing, I don't see any changes out there. As far as any earthquake activity goes, I don't know what that is. It looks like some type of noise on that seismograph station. But then again, it's showing up on there as well. Let's see. Showing up on that station as well. I don't know what that noise is. Definitely some earthquake activity out there. I don't know if it's network interference or what, but let's see here. That's interesting. Almost looks like some type of pulse or something. Didn't show up over here though. So I don't know. It could be outside interference. Hard to say. Didn't show up on this one. That's locally as well. It might just be on the network there, making some type of outside interference noise. But anyway, let's see what else we have out here. Some movement down across the Peru-Chile Trench, a latest of 4.6. Pretty shallow earthquake. We've had a number of deep earthquakes down here into that subduction zone throughout the day today. Clusterization going on there. The Atlantic Ocean pretty quiet. Let's kind of keep an eye on things here. Another 3.7 out there around the south of the Philippines here in the green flag. Alrighty, space weather activity real quick. Got, well, we got a couple different sunspots out here. This one looks like it's starting to flare right now. Looking a little interesting. That's going to be 4207. Latest magnetogram image shows there's still a little bit of complexity back here, different colors and whatnot around that main core. Looks like maybe that may pop off a C flare, maybe an M flare. And but that's about it. There's not a whole lot of complex sunspots out here. So that flare threat will probably, well, it's already been dropped there. 30% chance for an M flare, X flare around 1%. That's probably reasonable there for the conditions there on the sunspots that are facing the Earth here. No major roars in the forecast. All right, let's check out the latest information here on Kiko. I believe that's correct. That is still sitting out there. Let's see, we got any information on it? I'm going to go over here to the other website and check that out. Still spinning up out there. Although it looks like it's shrinking in size. Still got a well-defined eye, but it's losing some of its convection. That is expected to pass here north of Hawaii. Hawaii is still, including Honolulu, is in that cone of uncertainty. So there is some advisories and whatnot going on here with the potential arrival of the hurricanes. But it is expected to drop quite rapidly, as you can see on the forecast guidance, intensity guidance model here. I think we're at around category 4 or so right now, but that will drop drastically here in this many hours out as it gets into the cooler water of the Pacific. But looks like most of the models here, some of these are showing what looks like a direct impact to Hawaii. Let's go over here and check this out real quick. What? You don't have anything for Hawaii out there? What? Okay, let's go back here. Oh, okay. Put this into motion. It's still showing northward here and dissipating quite rapidly. This is just a GFS model. ECMWF shows roughly about the same thing, a more northward track. But we'll see what happens. Either way, it's going to dissipate. And I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's see what we got coming out in the Gulf or the Atlantic real quick. Put this into motion here. And, well, something coming up here, it looks like, towards the middle of September. I think that still has something to do with that tropical system that could develop around the middle of this month. But I don't see anything major hitting the area for now. Looks like California going to get a little bit of rain out here, Northern California. That's good with me. That's definitely fine with me. I'm liking the cooler weather. I think we got up to about 83 degrees today. It's supposed to be cooler over the next couple days. That's perfect. Well below average for this time of year for us. So I am okay with that, let me tell you. Seismograph stations out there, pretty quiet there, folks. Not a whole lot showing up on the maps. Just keep an eye there on the Cascadia. It's one of those things where, you know, so much time has really passed out here. And we're coming up into the window of uncertainty, whether this is going to pop soon or if it's going to wait another 50 years. But I don't see it waiting another 50 years. We're already at 325 years since the last big rupture out here. And we have yet to have a partial rupture. Occasionally we'll see actually the majority of the time in between big events we see partial ruptures of the Cascadia, and then some odd years later a full rupture. But just be prepared. Have yourself a wonderful Saturday night. Enjoy the rest of whatever's left here. Still Saturday night out here in Northern California, so Have a good one. We'll catch you guys out here in the morning for the Sunday morning update. See ya.